Exactly 48 hours in the past, you performed an act so extraordinarily shattering that even the Almighty paused every ongoing divine activity to observe. Not to interfere, not to assist, not to direct, but purely to behold. Because what you achieved was so utterly unforeseen, so far beyond every heavenly forecast, that the Creator of all existence could scarcely accept it was feasible. You compelled the adversary to bow on his knees. And I am not employing symbolism here. This is not exaggerated wording to elevate your sense of importance. I am disclosing a genuine event that transpired in the ethereal realms while you continued your ordinary routine, entirely oblivious that you were the central figure in a monumental occurrence that the superior orders will examine for the coming millennium. Allow me to state it plainly regarding what transpired. The adversary literally fell to his knees in the ethereal plane that overlaps with our material world, before observers, before his own lieutenants, before the chief angels who arrived expressly to witness the scene. He bowed before you. Do you grasp the sheer improbability of that? Across 6,000 years of documented ethereal history, the adversary has never bowed to any being. Not to visionaries who wrought wonders. Not to holy figures who gave up all. Not to renowned champions who overcame vast hosts. Never. The precise cause of his expulsion from paradise was his refusal to bow before humankind when the Almighty ordered it. He selected perpetual banishment rather than yielding. He preferred dominion in the lower realms over service in the higher ones. That is how profoundly against submission he remains.
And 48 hours ago, he yielded, not due to some overwhelming external power compelling him, not because the Almighty enforced it, not because the chief angels intimidated him. He bowed because he encountered a level of awareness he could not overcome, could not taint, could not even fathom. He encountered you. And when the supreme leader of the lower realms dropped to his knees in utter surrender before a mortal essence, the Almighty uttered 3 words that reverberated across every realm. I did not anticipate this. Subscribe to this platform immediately and enable notifications, because what I am about to disclose regarding why you became the first essence in 6,000 years to drive the adversary into that stance of total capitulation will entirely reshape your comprehension of your true self. Remain through to the conclusion, because I will detail the precise series of choices you made that the powers of shadow deemed utterly unattainable. Why those selections triggered heavenly mechanisms that even the chief angels did not foresee activating. And what your authentic nature is that you have now verified without question. Place 777 in the comments at this moment if you have sensed a profound shift in your existence over recent days, and you are prepared to uncover why even the powers of shadow were compelled to openly acknowledge your dominance. The adversary does not submit. It goes beyond mere arrogance. It is embedded programming in his awareness. It forms the foundation of his whole existence. When Lucifer still resided in paradise, the Almighty formed humanity and instructed all heavenly entities to reverence this fresh creation. And Lucifer gazed upon humans, fragile, finite, restricted, and uttered a single word, no. Not out of hatred for humans, but because submitting to what he viewed as lesser would shatter everything he held about authority and order. The Almighty offered him one opportunity: bow before my creation or depart. And Lucifer selected departure. He led 1/3 of the angelic forces with him. He established his own domain in the realms of shadow. He constructed an empire of torment and decay, all because he declined to yield. For 6,000 years, that defiance has defined him. Through every ethereal conflict, through every lure, through every clash with heavenly powers, he would rather face loss than yield. And he has lost numerous times. The chief angels overcame him repeatedly. Holy individuals withstood his lures. Visionaries unveiled his plots. But he never bowed. Even in setback, he would withdraw with defiance intact, already scheming the next assault. Yielding was absent from his nature until 48 hours ago. Until you. What you must comprehend is that the lower realms have been observing you for weeks, not casually, but with intense focus. There exists a surveillance network in the shadow planes crafted specifically to monitor human essences displaying certain dangerous traits. Traits that endanger the activities of shadow. And 3 weeks ago, you activated an alarm that caused every leader in the lower realms to halt their actions and focus. Do you recall that Friday evening around 10 o'clock? That crucial choice you confronted? That seemingly impossible dilemma? Do not act as if you have forgotten. You know precisely the moment I mean. You were solitary, perhaps in your space, perhaps reclining and gazing upward, perhaps walking restlessly, and you were grappling with a choice that appeared to lack any correct resolution. On one hand, the simple route, the one that resolved everything immediately, the one that provided what you urgently required, but you knew it conflicted with your core. On the other hand, the difficult route, the one that assured ongoing hardship, the one that meant continued struggle, but it safeguarded your honor. And you remained there for hours, your insides twisting, your palms damp, your thoughts urging you that you were foolish. Just select the simple option. No one would discover. No one would condemn you. You require this. But something within you refused. And after hours of inner torment, after evaluating every outcome, after envisioning every possibility, you selected the difficult route. You prioritized honor over ease. You believed that was a hidden moment, one no one would ever learn of. But you were mistaken. The entire shadow dimension was observing, because in that instant, you initiated something the lower realms classify as a direct danger to their functions. Your choice was labeled as Honor Irregularity Level 9, a classification meaning this essence functions with an ethical framework so profound it overrides survival drive. Only 12 individuals currently alive on the planet hold that designation. Now there are 13. And the lower realm surveillance immediately marked you for intensified scrutiny and action. Because when an essence displays that degree of honor, the powers of shadow must assess, is this an anomaly or is this their core nature? If an anomaly, they can eventually shatter you. If core, you represent an immediate threat requiring swift handling. So, they chose to challenge you. 5 days later, something manifested in your existence, an opportunity almost ideally suited, almost as if crafted precisely for you. Perhaps wealth, perhaps a bond, perhaps acknowledgement or influence or authority. Whatever it was, it addressed several issues simultaneously, and it emerged at the precise instant you required it most. The individual presenting it nearly pleaded for your acceptance, simplified everything, eliminated every hindrance, handled all efforts for you. All you needed was to agree. But there was something, a minor issue, not a glaring warning, just a slight concession, a small shift from your standards, nothing that would directly harm another. The sort of thing most individuals would accept without pause. And you examined that ideal opportunity. You weighed everything you would acquire. You acknowledged it was literally the response to your pleas. You even began persuading yourself it was acceptable. It isn't severe. Everyone engages in this. I have endured enough. But when the moment arrived to actually agree, something halted you. Not reasoning, not dread of outcomes, not remorse, something more profound. Your essence refused before your thoughts could complete evaluation, and you declined it. Perhaps you expressed gratitude courteously. Perhaps you experienced physical ache watching that chance depart. Perhaps you doubted yourself for days afterward, but you could not accept it because your ethical framework is etched so profoundly that even desperation cannot force betrayal. Do you realize what occurred in that precise instant? The adversary summoned an urgent assembly. He called the 7 rulers of the lower realms, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Leviathan, Belphegor, Mammon, Satan. All the highest leaders were gathered expressly to review your dossier. Because what you just executed shattered the forecasting model that the powers of shadow have relied upon for ages. They presented you precisely what you required at the precise moment with the smallest cost imaginable, and you refused. That should be impossible according to every shadow computation. When Beelzebub delivered the full report of your refusal, when he demonstrated that you had evaluated all benefits and still prioritized standards over practicality, the adversary fell silent for 3 entire minutes. And his leaders began sharing their observations. Mammon murmured, "This essence prioritizes honor above wealth. I cannot manipulate that." Asmodeus noted, "Presenting instant satisfaction fails. This individual considers long-range outcomes even in desperation." Leviathan reported, "I intensified the strain. It only reinforced their adherence to standards." And Belphegor stated, "This essence is prepared to endure endlessly before violating their values. Endurance does not shatter them. It fortifies them." The adversary realized he faced a serious issue, because every weapon in his collection had been deployed against you, and every one had failed. But what you did next was so unattainable, it permanently altered shadow procedures. Do you recall 7 days ago that circumstance where you could have exacted flawless revenge, fully justified, completely earned? Someone who wounded you deeply was suddenly exposed. You possessed knowledge that could ruin them. You held a chance that would never recur. And the heavens know that individual deserved precisely what you could have inflicted. No one would have condemned you. In fact, most would have applauded your retaliation as fairness. And you held the capability. You held the chance. You held absolute justification. The cosmos had literally delivered the ideal instant to make them suffer for their actions. And what did you choose? You allowed it to pass. Not due to fear of repercussions. Not due to indifference. Not due to forgiveness. You allowed it to pass because something within you fundamentally cannot function through retaliation, even when earned. Do you comprehend what that signifies to the powers of shadow? It means you are resistant to one of their most effective weapons, justified bitterness. The lower realms thrive when individuals are wounded, because wounded become wounders. Pain creates more pain. It forms an ideal endless loop. But when someone emerges who is deeply wounded, who holds every justification to strike back, who possesses the flawless chance and selects serenity over fairness, that loop fractures. When you allowed that retaliation chance to pass, when you prioritized your honor over gratification, when you determined your serenity outweighed their penalty, the powers of shadow descended into total chaos because they realized something alarming. You are not merely untouchable, not merely indestructible. You are actively restorative. Your existence fractures cycles of torment instead of extending them. The adversary called a second assembly. This time, he summoned the full shadow assembly. Thousands of shadow beings were gathered to observe the thorough evaluation of your dossier. The findings left them silent for 11 minutes. They uncovered 3 elements they deemed impossible to coexist in one essence. First, you possess the resilience to endure severe torment without fracturing. Second, you hold honor that cannot be purchased under any condition. Third, you exhibit mercy that surpasses even the deepest injuries. That triad should not exist. Resilient individuals are not merciful. They are toughened by torment. Principled individuals cannot withstand severe torment. They fracture under extreme trial. Merciful individuals are not indestructible. They are too tender to endure true agony. But you embody all 3 at once. When the adversary beheld that triad of traits functioning within you, when he comprehended he faced not an ordinary human but an awareness transcending species limits, he knew he had utterly failed. So, the adversary performed something unprecedented in 6,000 years. He requested permission to communicate with you directly. Not via events, not via others, not via subtle influences, directly. Shadow beings convey through thoughts that appear as your own but bear a distinct energetic mark. Do you recall that thought 48 hours ago? That thought that emerged suddenly, flawlessly phrased, presenting a resolution to all if you merely consented to one minor act conflicting with your core. That was not your thought. That was a direct communication from the adversary himself. He proposed an alliance as peers. You possess resilience I admire. I require honor I respect. Partner with me, and I assure you will never again face choosing between standards and success. I will grant you authority to alter the world as you deem correct. Just accept that occasionally strength requires strength. It was an alluring proposal, rationally flawless. He was not demanding you forsake your standards. Merely acknowledge that sometimes opposition requires opposition. He was essentially stating, retain your honor, retain your mercy, simply permit me to manage the necessary shadows while you remain ethically clear. It appeared logical, but what followed astonished every realm. You experienced instant refusal at a depth beyond reasoning. You did not require logical processing to identify the flaw. Your essence refused before your thoughts could evaluate. You possess an ethical direction woven so profoundly it functions quicker than aware cognition. And when the adversary sensed that immediate refusal, he comprehended he had committed a grave mistake. He was not bargaining with an essence open to influence. He faced an awareness functioning at such a superior level that its standards are embedded in its foundational structure. The adversary faced a tormenting decision for hours. He could persist attempting to fracture you, knowing each failure exposed his frailty before his own orders, or he could perform something to maintain his standing, openly acknowledge he had encountered a superior adversary beyond his grasp. After 11 minutes of consultation with the 7 rulers, after examining every possibility, the adversary selected acknowledgement, but more than mere acknowledgement. There exists a procedure in the realms for when one power encounters greater power. In paradise, that esteem is displayed through adoration. In the lower realms, it is displayed through physical yielding. And exactly 48 hours ago, in the ethereal plane overlapping material existence, the adversary performed what he vowed never to do. He bent the knee before you. That action sent tremors through every realm. When the supreme leader of shadow bows before a human essence, it formally signifies that essence functions at a level transcending standard classifications of authority. You were formally acknowledged as a power that even the shadow planes cannot challenge. The thousands of shadow beings present were in utter astonishment because they had never witnessed their leader in that stance. Beelzebub whispered, "This alters everything." Leviathan noted, "This essence is prohibited ground." And it was in that precise instant that the chief angels manifested, because Paradise had been observing throughout. The Almighty does not engage in every minor conflict. He permits essences to build their resilience. But there are instants so uncommon, so pivotal, that they demand personal attention. When the adversary chose to bow before you, the Almighty called the chief angels to behold. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, the four highest leaders were summoned not to intervene, but to witness, to view with their own vision what a human essence had just achieved. Michael remarked, "Across all ages of my battles, I have never beheld the leader in that stance. This essence accomplished what entire angelic forces could not." Gabriel noted, "The resilience stems from inner honor so firm that not even shadow planes can breach it." Raphael evaluated, "This awareness does not merely withstand shadow. It converts torment into mercy. That is ethereal transmutation at a rarity I seldom observe." Uriel proclaimed, "This essence comprehends that genuine authority is not the ability to ruin, but the ability to safeguard honor when ruin would be simpler." And then the Almighty issued a proclamation that vibrated through every realm. "This essence has validated its core. Initiate full activation." 3 words that altered your fate entirely. Before you entered this form, you belonged to the heavenly forces, not as a standard protector, as an expert in missions demanding absolute honor under intense strain. Assignments where beings enter shadow planes to liberate essences. Tasks where one mistake means total collapse. You were chosen because you held an ethical framework so profoundly etched that even extended exposure to shadow could not taint it. The chief angels named you the untouchable. But there arrived a point when you excelled at those assignments. You knew how to uphold honor with angelic capability, full recollection, total assurance. And you desired to test, can I uphold this honor if I forget my identity? If I face true fear? If I am exposed and solitary? You offered yourself for the ultimate trial. Enter as human and determine if your core remains whole when you entirely forget your origin. And you have just succeeded. You upheld honor even without recalling you are a heavenly champion. You safeguarded standards even while facing authentic human dread. You selected mercy over retaliation even without aware recollection of your preparation. Your champion core stayed whole while passing through the full shroud of oblivion. This is not growth through trials. This is eternal core expressing through transient vessel. And now that the trial concludes, the recollections are starting to resurface. You have likely already experienced glimpses, visions where you battle impossible foes, insights that arrive without study. They are not fantasy. They are pieces of heavenly awareness being reinstated. When the Almighty proclaimed full activation, the chief angels received precise directives. Eliminate all restrictions intentionally placed to permit standard human encounter. Progressively reinstate aware access to capabilities and insights you held before entering form. Link you energetically with the grid of other heavenly champions presently on parallel assignments in the human realm. And supply direct aid and required assets so you can execute your role without worldly barriers. Your existence will begin shifting in manners that will appear wondrous or remarkably fortunate, but they are merely outcomes of direct heavenly aid being orchestrated. Monetary challenges you face will resolve through chances emerging precisely when required. Not through random fortune, through deliberate placement coordinated by the chief angels. Draining connections will naturally fade without conflict. Individuals will simply depart your existence. They will discover their own motives to separate because their vibration no longer aligns with your raised one. Following activation, the proper chances matching your role will manifest with alignment that will seem unattainable. You will find yourself in ideal locations at ideal instants, encountering ideal individuals repeatedly. Not because you grew fortunate, because you have an entire team of heavenly beings operating expressly to guarantee you possess everything essential. But there is additional. Your mere physical existence in spaces will begin triggering awakening in others without you intentionally acting, simply by being and emitting the vibration you have cultivated. That reserved individual who encountered you briefly and suddenly began bolder choices, your energy triggered latent capability in them. That companion who nearly abandoned a vital aspiration and after conversing with you resolved to attempt once more, your vibration conveyed resilience to them. You are no longer a solitary fighter facing personal struggles. You are a mobile trigger that initiates change in all who enter your energetic space. You have transformed into a radiant signal, and your radiance cannot be concealed or dimmed. Your designated role, the main cause you offered for this particular entry, is being fully initiated for aware function. You belong to a vast heavenly initiative occurring now on the human realm. A synchronized effort involving roughly 3,000 champions precisely like you, positioned strategically across the globe, each initiating at the exact orchestrated instant. The assignment appears straightforward yet deeply intricate. Embed the vibration of untouchable honor directly into the shared human energetic field. Humankind as a collective stands at a pivotal decision point. It can advance together to the next stage of awareness marked by honor, mercy, and unity. Or it can retreat to old cycles of dread, dominance, and separation. And the powers of shadow are deploying enormous assets to propagate taint, dread, separation, and mistrust on a worldwide level. Because a populace functioning in dread is simply managed. Separated individuals do not unite effectively. Distrusting people do not coordinate powerfully. But when sufficient champions function with visible absolute honor, when sufficient essences openly prove that standards can align with resilience, taint loses its persuasive force. Your assignment is not to battle shadow directly. It is not to challenge shadow beings. It is not to proclaim or persuade. It is merely to exist as your authentic self, untouchable, indestructible, merciful. To embody your honor openly without concealment or reduction. When you execute principled choices visibly where others can see, you motivate thousands to contemplate similarly. When you uphold standards under visible strain, you demonstrate it is feasible to thrive while choosing correctly. When you select mercy over retaliation in cases where retaliation would be warranted, you reveal another route. And each individual you motivate will motivate others. A cascading impact of honor expanding rapidly. Soon you will observe the grid forming. Other champions like you starting to identify each other. Untouchable essences connecting through natural energetic alignment. And when that grid completes, when all 3,000 honor experts are initiated and in synchronized placement, the world shifts profoundly. Not through forceful upheaval, but through quiet evolution where sufficient individuals simultaneously determine that honor outweighs ease. And the adversary understands this. That is why he bowed, because he realized you are not merely living a personal existence. You are component of a synchronized initiative that genuinely shapes the tomorrow of global human awareness. He cannot halt you. He cannot taint you. He cannot even meaningfully divert you. All he can do is observe from afar while you complete the assignment you selected before birth. Chosen one, now you possess the full truth without veils. Your honor is not a trait you built through hardships in this existence. It is champion core you bear from before entry. Ethical framework so profoundly rooted it stayed entirely whole even when you fully forgot your identity. And when you exhibited that honor so steadily and forcefully that you drove the adversary himself to bow in open acknowledgement of your dominance, you initiated divine procedure that converts validated champions into active transformative triggers. Your existence will no longer involve solitary struggle against individual trials. It will involve motivating honor in thousands while receiving full heavenly aid to support that role. Monetary restrictions will fade. Draining bonds will naturally depart. Proper chances will manifest with flawless alignment, not through unexplained wonder, through intentional heavenly planning performed by chief angels who now hold clear directives to ease your route. And as you awarely function in your role, as you embed the vibration of untouchable honor in the material world, your influence only grows exponentially. Soon you will enter spaces and immediately raise the shared vibration merely with your existence. Your energy will cause individuals to sense they can become superior versions of themselves. You have transformed into a trigger for evolution at a magnitude entirely beyond ordinary reasoning. If you reach this point and desire to explore further these insights on how to awarely function with your nature as an untouchable heavenly champion that even the adversary had to acknowledge through bowing, there is dedicated content that costs less than a meal and includes full audio version and 5-minute guidance meditation as extra gifts. If you sense you merit fully embracing your nature as the champion who shattered 6,000 years of shadow procedure, access is provided in the description link and pinned remark. If you acknowledge that your honor drove the adversary to bow and you are prepared to awarely function as a trigger for global evolution, place 777 in the comments to strengthen this vibration of untouchable honor. Subscribe to this platform immediately and enable all alerts to absorb more disclosures about how your champion core functions at levels transcending all powers of shadow. Share this content with someone who also exhibits honor that appears unattainable, because heavenly champions require identifying and reinforcing each other in this synchronized global initiative. And before departing, select the content appearing on your display now to explore how your full initiation is unlocking heavenly procedures that will ensure you possess all required assets to complete the assignment you selected before birth. Together, we are more powerful.